are happening, and what some of the general public doesn't understand because they have been consuming mass-produced media for a long time, which many are guilty of. It's nothing to be ashamed of. However, having the information and still not waking up is something that would be on their fault. So, in short, a nation that hates its own flag and its own history cannot go and conquer another nation, and that has been like that forever. It can win all the battles and it can win all the wars. However, it cannot go and conquer, because what you need to understand that when the Roman Empire went and conquered other tribes and other nations, as soon as the military battles or wars were over, the soldiers themselves actually started building roads, right? Commercial lines to Rome, and that were connecting their stations to Rome, and immediately commerce started sprouting up in these places, and they also brought more efficient systems, bureaucracy, and technology to these places. So eventually the tribe members that were conquered did not want the old rulers back because, well, frankly, they lived better under Roman rule than they would have lived in the previous system. And that is how Rome conquered, and that has been the model of conquering since the times of Rome, especially for Western nations and the West in general. So what you need to know that you conquer a people by convincing them that they are conquered. A victor doesn't just shout victory. The defeated has to declare victory for the victor, and that's how usually things go. So as soon as the West kind of stopped believing in itself, that its own ways are better than the nations that it's trying to conquer or trying to overtake, then it had a hard time selling the idea that whatever system that they want to impose or install on said nations would be better than what they previously had. And that is how you lose your capability to conquer, I should say. And that conquering doesn't always mean military actions. Military actions is just a part of conquering, and it could be not a part at all, right? If you take a look at some westernized nations today, they were never invaded by the Western Europe countries or American countries. They were subverted by Western ideas because it worked much better for them that they had previously. So conquering doesn't always have to do anything with war. So people kind of confuse that. And, to put it in today's context, if you think of an army of 80,000 or so soldiers, which is probably, again, exaggerated, that it can take over by day, a couple of days, a country of 38 million, then something is not right. Your information might be wrong, or whatever you have been fed might be wrong. And, you might not be at fault at this. It's just what you have been used to. But, since now a couple of years, people that have been consuming media have been waking up, right? Because of the shocks. Well, I thought it was going to be like this, and no, well, it's not, suddenly these turns, because the image that they see and what is being reported, there's such a big mismatch between them that they are now losing faith in the information sources that they used or their parents used. So this is just another case like that, because what's happening today could be shocking for many, but it's not really shocking for people who kind of understood how things work, right? So in today's sense, with regards to Afghanistan, the Taliban have never really left or never took over again. It was just that they switched uniforms when the time was right. So the current unfolding has been clear for a while, right? That just because an eagle is sitting on a carcass for a long time, that doesn't necessarily mean that it will be able to consume it. Because if you take a look at some videos of Yuri Bezmenov, he said, well, how a nation withstands coercion or conquering or something like that. It's just they just never give up. They don't want to give up. In that sense, the only other option is total annihilation, in which case there's no profit to be gained. So at that point, the eagle had to make a choice what to do, right? He has this massive resource that he can fight against continuously in trying to consume it without any success, or it can deal with the bear or with the tiger and see if they want it and they want to share and what they are willing to give up. So when I was previously talking about different levels of what's actually happening in global politics, the news, which I sort of said it's kind of trash, yes it is, but you can gain somewhat of an introspection of who dictates the news, what they are planning or what they already did, and what they're planning to sell. So it's usually either pre-fact or post-fact, the news or the news channels, what they broadcast. And that was usually the case in communist Romania, which was eventually cleared to anyone who actually wanted to study how news works. And to be honest, it doesn't. Hey, thank you for watching this short introduction to a members video. Thank you for all the members who support my channel over at buymeacoffee.com, and you guys make it possible for me to talk about topics that we care about, not necessarily the YouTube algorithm. So thank you very much, and if you're interested in the rest of the video, then head on over to buymeacoffee.com, subscribe, and we'll be able to talk on some of the topics that were shared in videos, and I will look forward to seeing you in the comment section there. I will also be continuously releasing videos on YouTube as well, but some videos are more for conversation starters for members and not for the general public. So thank you very much, and see you there.